Introducing NonKin Village, a generator for cross-cultural training games. NonKin transforms both training development and the 3D game world so that agents use best practice cognitive models that let them make autonomous decisions and handle situations realistically for the region being modeled. Agents are socially dynamic. They are aware of and interact across many society-wide relationships, organizations, and networks. Agents are unscripted and conversational. Narrative emerges automatically from the sociocognitive models inside the agents. Agents reason and emote about their health, physiology, moral values and standards, cultural norms and obligations, cross-group grievances, and other issues affecting their quality of life. A hydraulic flow model describes how agents are affected by their physiological needs. Of potential actions, the agent will choose the one with the highest utility. In this case, eating will be his next action. When the simulation ticks, the agent does in fact eat. He is now full and will avoid eating again for some time. Emotions develop whenever an action occurs in the world, allowing agents to form emotions about others' actions, including a player's. Every avatar corresponds to an agent in the simulation. Agents belong to a tribe, have a residence, socialize, pray, and go to work or school. To transform real-world terrain data into a format suitable for agent and player perception, a taxonomy facilitates a markup process that describes structures, such as buildings and infrastructure, in two modular layers, structural and services. For example, this agent's perception of the village shows the top afforded actions from structures and nearby agents. Attending prayer at the mosque. People returning home at dusk for dinner, socializing and sleep. As an outcome of the synthesis of dozens of models in our agents, villagers can naturally explain themselves and the world through player dialogue. Player actions have direct and unintended consequences. Pointing a weapon at a villager is perceived as a threat. The villager responds to the threat by choosing to surrender, but the transgression is perceived by the community. An accidental shooting of a villager triggers angry crowds. This action is recorded in the group memory as shown in the transgression object screen and will affect the player's ongoing experiences. One can also try positive COAs. This is possible since behind our village sim is state sim running the higher level dynamics of the region. Agents live out daily lives in families, economic networks, and ethno-political factions. PMF serve models institutional services. Different groups receive varying amounts of services. COA planning is done back at the FOB, off-screen, in our COA tool. Here the player is deciding to try to give aid to two clans and to eradicate the drug lord's poppy fields. The player decides to sim ahead in time and see the outcome of his poppy eradication and aid plan. The player receives his mission from his commanding officer. His mission is to see what has changed during the intervening period. The player greets Jalaluddin, the merchant. The player asks about the general economic condition and Jalaluddin replies that hardly anyone has a job. The player asks about the black market, and Jalaluddin replies that the economy is largely informal and that it's the insurgents who collect the taxes. The player asks about supply difficulties, and Jalaluddin replies that sometimes the government or insurgents block travel. The player asks about bribes, and Jalaluddin laughs at the idea that it could be otherwise. 8 weeks out, the institution models indicate a tanking economy and the unavailability of jobs and supplies. Interactions with the same shopkeeper reveal these model changes. Embedding NonKin Village Generator behind any 3D platform will change its agents to be cognitively enriched, socially dynamic, and conversational and unscripted. StateSim adds state-level simulation. Players can attempt COAs, observe effects immersively.